All right, guys, I just want to give you a brief overview of what the AP exam for government is going to look like this year. So there will be questions that I don't have, or let me rephrase that. There will be questions that you have that I don't know the answer to. If that happens, just text me, email me. I'll try to figure out the answers for you. College Board is consistently coming out with new information about this stuff. So, why is College Board still offering their exams? Well, their answer is that we surveyed 18,000 AP students to see if they still wanted the opportunity to test this year. Their answer was a resounding yes. So these are the different dates. I know it's hard to see, but your date is May 11th, okay, at 4 p.m. If you have any other AP courses, you might be able to make it out here on this thing. But remember, there is a link in our Schoology page that can take you directly to this kind of stuff. There is a makeup date of June 1st. However, you have to have a legitimate reason of why you can't make the original test date in order to do that. Okay, so there's only 2 questions on the exam. They only will cover units 1, 2, and 3. So our focus for the remainder of this class is going to be those first 3 units, all of the court cases and foundational documents. If you remember the wall that we had that had all the foundational documents and court cases on it, there's only one that we did not go over yet, and that is the Citizens United Supreme Court case. So that's the only one that you don't need to know. We can narrow our focus a little bit though, and this is a great opportunity for you guys to get college credit. So first up on the exam is FRQ Argumentative Essay. It's worth 60% of your score, and it's 25 minutes. Now in Schoology, I have uploaded a couple of videos from a guy who really breaks down the FRQ Argumentative Essay. It kind of teaches you how to do it. So make sure you're watching that, and then next class we will get together and we'll talk about it. I'll answer any of the questions that you have, and we'll be practicing this on and off for the rest of the year. The second question on the exam is the concept application free response question, and that one is worth 40% of your score, and it's 15 minutes. So the way this is going to work is you'll log in at 4 p.m. You'll have to verify who you are somehow, however they figure out to do that. You'll have 25 minutes to respond to the argumentative essay. You'll have 5 minutes to upload that essay. Then you'll have 15 minutes to respond to the concept application free response question, and then another 5 minutes to upload that. So a total of 40 minutes is what you're actually testing, but they're also giving you 10 minutes for uploading. The score rubric is still a 1 to a 5, 5 meaning you're amazeballs, 3 meaning you passed, 1 meaning you put your name on the paper, okay? So when we're looking at question 1, which is the 60% argumentative essay, it's assessing your ability to do the following things. Articulate a defensible claim or thesis that responds to the question and establishes a line of reasoning. And that's really important. You have to answer the question, and we're going to talk about that here in a little while, but you can't just restate the question, right? You have to actually answer it, and you have to have some kind of line of reasoning of why you came up with that. You also have to provide evidence. And the easiest way to say this is just you need to provide evidence from 2 foundational documents. One is listed in the question, and the other one either can be listed in the question or come from your own brain, right? So the more that you remember these foundational documents in Supreme Court cases, the better. Use reasoning to explain why both pieces of those evidence support the claim. So not only do you have to provide the evidence and support the claim, you have to explain why those pieces of evidence support your claim. Now, something that I want you to see here is Here, you have to articulate a defensible claim. Here, you have to support the claim. Here, you have to support the claim. Here, you have to support the claim. What that basically means is if you don't have a good thesis statement or claim, you get a 0. You get a 1, if you will, because 1 is the lowest you can get. Okay? So if you don't nail the claim, you don't have a chance to do any of these other things. I want you to think about that. The claim is where it's all at. This is on a 7-point rubric, and this is where we start talking about that thesis statement, right? You have to respond to the prompt with a defensible claim that establishes a line of reasoning. Cannot restate or rephrase the prompt, and you will not earn the thesis point if the intended claim or thesis only restates the prompt. They put that on there twice now, so think about that, right? Now, here's the next thing. It can meet the requirement even if the rest of the supporting details don't support the claim. So if we go back, you may not be able to get these points down here, but if you at least do a claim or thesis, you're at least going to get a point on the 7-point rubric. So just think about that. I'm not going to get into all of this. This PowerPoint I actually put on Schoology, so if you want to overview it, you can. I'm not going to get into the weeds of all of this quite yet. We'll talk more about this when we actually go over the FRQ. Okay. All right, now we get into the concept application. Basically what this is going to do is it's going to give you an authentic scenario. It's probably going to give you a Supreme Court case or something like that that you have never, ever, ever heard before. And you're going to be like, Mr. Ricks didn't tell me to study this. But what they're also going to do is they're going to give you a Supreme Court case that you do know. So let's just use the example of you do know Brown versus the Board of Education. Well, the Supreme Court case that they may give you may be Joseph Ricks versus USD 475. You've never heard of Joseph Ricks versus USD 475. But based off of what you know about Brown versus the Board of Education, you know their line of reasoning, you know what their final decision was, you know what some of the dissenting opinions were, if there were any, and you can use that mold of Brown versus Board of Education to understand Joseph Ricks versus USD 475. And that's what you really want to do, right? And so you have to explain the effects of a political institution, process, or behavior, and transfer understanding of the course concepts and apply them in a new situation or scenario. So you are going to get something new that you've never heard of before. So then they get into this test security. And guys, I'm telling you, they're being really sticklers about this, right? You can use the internet. You can use your notes. You can use your book. However, students may not consult with other individuals during testing, okay? They will take necessary steps to protect the integrity of the exam. They're pretty certain that most AP students are going to do what they're supposed to do. However, they don't want a small group of students to kind of ruin it for everybody else. So they're going to have all types of cheating detection, digital security tools, techniques, including plagiarism detection software, post-administration analytics, and just, matter of fact, this is the first year where I actually get your test back and I get to read what you wrote. And then if I think that you plagiarized or it's not up to snuff with what you've done in the rest of the class, I can actually call College Board and be like, nah, I think something's going on here, okay? And that's what this last part is talking about. Any students whose response mirrors online content from another student, their scores will be canceled. If they find plagiarism, you got it off the internet, but maybe switched 1 or 2 words, they can find that. If you try to communicate, social media, Snapchat, email with another person during the test, they're going to be able to figure out that. And just anything that is kind of, you guys know what cheating is. If you want to read all of this, you can. But the underlining thing that I want you to know is this next part, which is under certain circumstances, College Board may inform law enforcement of any incident to determine if prosecution of the test taker or anyone assisting the test taker in misconduct is warranted, and they will send that you cheated to every single college that you apply for, or that you have shown on any AP exam that you wanted your score to go to. So basically, they're going to send out a note to your college university saying, hey, yo, this person cheated, and nobody wants that to be on their college resume. Other than that, we can do this. We're going to get through it. We're going to do the best we can. Best case scenario, you get some college credit. Worst case scenario, when you go to your poli-sci class, when you get to whatever university, college that you're going to, you're going to be able to rock it because, you've studied all this stuff and you know it. So best case, get college credit. Worst case, you're a better citizen. So just think about it like that, guys. All right. Well, that's all I got. Hopefully this was helpful. Remember, watch those videos on the FRQ, and if you have any questions, we'll talk about them next class. Have a good weekend.